What up, gamers? I'm Jason, and today on Dice and Dragons, I'm going to be diving into all of these expansions for Sine Tempore by Ludus Magnus Studios, designed by Luca Bernardini and Andrea Coletti. Once again, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Now, we do also have the Pets and the ADE expansion that we're going to be taking a look at. We just don't have it in front of us. It's cluttered enough as it is. Now, the expansions we're going to be taking a look at: Silicio, Kyrone, Aracne, Pandora, and Motherfang. Now, if you only want to see one of these expansions or one more than the other, feel free to take a look down below in the video description. There are timestamps that will take you to the expansion that you want to see. Now, with that being said, I think I've talked enough about the game. Let me just mention what the game's about. So these are expansions to the base game Sine Tempore, which is a dungeon crawl / colonization game for 2 to 4 players, where you take on the roles of the crew of the Genesis as you must colonize planets and ensure the survival of your species. Now, we're going to go over to the top-down view and take a look at what's in all these boxes. Now let's start unboxing the expansions for Sine Tempore. I'm going to try to pronounce this, but I'm really not sure how to probably say it. It looks like Silicio or Silicio, not sure, but I think it's a reference to silicon. As you can see, Andromeda 1 on the cover. Let's see what we've got in the box. So we've got the rule book, gives you the list of the new components. You'll notice that we do not have the mini for some of the big bads. Those are included in the black hole box, so if you did get the Kickstarter, you'll get it. You got some new rules for the larger models, and then it goes into how you would use this campaign. Now, I do recommend taking a look at all of these expansions, as I've noticed that certain ones of these expansions will be added in depending on where you are in the campaign. Some may take place after, so keep that in mind. We do have another new map with our ship, the Genesis. So this might be an entirely separate campaign that you can do after you complete the core one. We do get some new tiles. We've got the snow tiles, and that's a giant face under there. Pretty cool. A few more tiles that are already ready to get out of the punch board. Some more tokens, some big crystals, turrets, some new symbols. And then, of course, we get to the minis and the cards. So we've got the ADE. So this is the big bad mini. As you saw, it is one that can be put together. So that's pretty cool. Now, I did get another one of these actually with the Kickstarter that we'll just unbox that one. This one does seem to be a little loose, and I'll try to tighten it all up. Here we've got one of the new characters that, the new minions we're going to be facing. Great detail. Love the detail on the base. Definitely going to have fun fighting them. Then we've got these war cats, or, cyber mecha crazy things that definitely look rather terrifying. I'd hate to run into them in the snow. We've got, once again, the new operating system cards. So just for the different operations. Still haven't learned how to play the game, so not sure how those come into effect. Now we've got these cards here, and they are sealed pretty difficultly. I'm going to try with these ones here first. A little easier to open. There we go. Once again, the shrink wrap packaging is just not pleasant. So we've got some of the new enemy cards, as we can see right there. Here we've got just some new wound types, resources. Take a look at the different resources. So white energy cells, ice-related stuff, pretty cool. We're going to get some new event cards here. So let's just take a quick look. From Hell, Custodies, Eternal Flames. Flames on an Ice Planet. It'd be interesting to see when those come into play. So we do get some cool new stuff here. Now I'm going to try to get this open. Hopefully it's not going to take me too long, but this is definitely not easy, as you can see from the shrink wrapping. I neglected to pre-cut this one, but as you can see, there is a little spot at the back, but that scratching that can potentially damage the card. So I'm going to try getting it from this corner here. Give me just a second. It is starting to give. I was able to get part of it, but not quite. There we go. Finally giving way here. So there we have it. New enemy is Andromeda 1.0. Orc ORC, Dark Orc, Baboom, Bad Baboom, the ADE, AD Infernal, rules for the crystals, and the 2 different types of turrets. So lots of cool stuff. You notice there's a lot of air in this box, and this is one I'm actually going to be using to store some other components. As you can see, there is a lot of 3-dimensional components that come with Sine Tempore, which is very nice, but also a giant pain in the butt to store and sort. So let's get everything back in the box, and we're going to continue on our journey through the expansions of Sine Tempore. So keep right ears. I'm going to come back at you with the Pandora expansion. Now we're going to take a look at what's in the box for the Pandora expansion. Now I did open up the box and just take off some of the plastic from the cards. But let's see what we got. We've got a new exploration book for Pandora. So that's kind of cool. Something that we haven't seen in any one of the other expansions so far. Well, we've only looked at one of them and the black hole box. Now, in Pandora, we've got the new enemy types. So the Sin Eater, the Punisher, the Shield, and Pandora herself. Now, I'm guessing because this was an add-on expansion that you actually do get everything in this box. Whereas because the Silicio, or I'm probably still messing that up, was part of the core pledge, some of the content got moved over into the black hole box. Then we get 2 new tiles as we are going into the galaxies or the sector's Supermax prison. We get some more prison tiles, some new locations, and then just we've got the enemy tokens as well as some for the larger ones. We also then have some other new tokens that we have here. I'm not quite sure what these ones are for. Let's get into the part that I'm sure most of you care about, are the miniatures. So we do have Pandora herself. Looks great, very detailed. Once again, base looks awesome. Definitely the exact kind of terrifying villain you would expect. Here we've got, I believe, the Sin Eaters, and Sin Eaters with the guns. We've got the Punishers up here. Not sure I love these minis. They are definitely well detailed, but there's something missing compared to some of the other ones I've seen in the game. And here are the shields, which are not that easy to get out. So we've got the shield minis. Very cool looking as well. So here we've got what looks to be a exploration deck with different missions. So level 1, level 2, all the way up to level 3. So you're going to be using a new kind of deck when you select your missions. Let's put that aside for the moment. Here we've got some new cards, new enemy cards with all their details. And then looks like we've got just new equipment that we'll be able to get over the course of the campaign. And then here we've got some other new cards. Now this green deck, I'm not sure. I guess it maybe is tied to Pandora. We get a new event. Looks like we've got Pandora's deck herself. So she's got her own deck right here of different skills and abilities. And then lastly, we just have the standard enemy cards for all of the new enemy types. So that's what you're getting in the Pandora expansion. Overall, solid amount of content. And if you've looked through some of the lore, and I've just had a chance to glance at it, Pandora, her name does show up quite a bit. So it'll be interesting to see what this expansion is all about and how it actually fits into the overall narrative of Sine Tempore. Don't forget my suggestion. especially if you've jumped ahead as you didn't want to see what was in some of the other stuff since the video's timestamped. Take a look at the expansion books and see where they come into play. Make sure that they're available to you, because I would definitely recommend, if you have everything, get everything out and work at incorporating it on your first playthrough. So there you have it. This is what you get in the box for Sine Tempore's Pandora expansion. Now we're going to move on to the next expansion. Now let's take a look at what's in the box for the Motherfang expansion for Sine Tempore. Now, in the box we've got a new scenario book. So, as you can see, we've got Motherfang and the Thundertooth and Buzz. So it does look like we're getting all the miniatures that we need. There's also instructions on how to use the expansion. Now this is a lighter expansion than some of the other ones, as you'll see. It looks like there's really only one mission for Motherfang. We get one new tile, a whole slew of new tokens, some terrain tokens, new enemy tokens, and then just some more health tokens. Now, I did forget to pre-open the card packs, but actually these ones look like, as there's not that much, look fairly easy to open. So here we get just a new Nemesis card right here. Get rid of the plastic. Here another set of new cards. Looks like we're getting some new equipment. Then we've got the enemy cards for Motherfang, as well as what looks to be some world event cards. So everything still's got the standard pack that we have on the other games. Here we've got a new set of cards, but like I said, this one was actually easy to open compared to many of the other packs of cards that I've gone through so far. And with this, we get some new wounds, new enemy cards. Definitely just looks to be, yeah. Oh, I delved into the enemy deck, that's why. So 3 new enemy types. Then, of course, we get all the rest of it here is the new enemy deck for the boss Motherfang. So let's take a look at what we got. We also have a new pet. You can tell because they're green. All pets are green with that half moon base. New pet for the party. We then have what looks to be the Thundertooth right here. Look pretty cool. And here is Motherfang herself. Now I do like that these minis are solid. I'm definitely going to be getting rid of this box and repackaging this in some other fashion with the rest of the Sine Tempore stuff. And one of these is supposed to be Buzz. Actually, you know what? This is Buzz. So Buzz is the pet. I got it confused. Or maybe he's a character that can potentially become a pet. Not quite sure how that would work. In any case, let's get everything back in the box, and then we're going to keep on going through all these expansions. We got another 3 snippets of video to film, and then I'm finally going to be able to get this all nicely sorted and start learning the game. Now we're going to take a look at the Kyrone expansion. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it right, for Sine Tempore. So let's see what we've got inside. And like some of these other ones that we've had, it's much smaller, as you can see. Nice thin rule book. And once again, everything is included in this box, it looks like, as it was not part of the Explorer Pledge. You got instructions on how to use the expansion. Now, I know I've said that a few times, but pay attention to how to use, like, definitely keep everything ready, as you might be able to go on these missions during the main campaign. We do get some new tiles, some new 3D terrain, more tokens. So it looks very cool. Yeah, these miniatures look a little more fragile, but still not sure how I'm going to be storing all of this stuff. It takes up way too much room. Once again, the cards are packaged in much easier to open packaging, except for this deck right here. So let's take a look at what we've got. So this is just another Nemesis card that we have here. So not quite sure how that works. We are getting some more standard cards as well. So we do get the new enemy cards with Kyrone. Then we've got the different enemy types. Book off the Keeper, Guardian's Eye, Vermin and the Hound. And then, of course, some new equipment that can be gained by defeating the enemies. Now, let's see if I can get this open easily. It's not that bad compared to some of the other packages we've had. So here we've got the new enemy deck, so all of the new abilities, and that's really what we're getting. And then I'm guessing, I flicked the mini out, decided to go for a ride. The rest are all just new enemy cards. So one of the guys decided to go for a ride. Not quite sure how that happened. Hopefully you're getting a chuckle out of that. So let's take a look. We've got one of these little lizard men. Not my favorite of the minis I've seen so far, but definitely has a nice level of detail. Here we've got, I believe, Kyrone, the leader of the Centaur Fawns. He looks pretty badass, although the spear is a little droopy, but overall, very nice miniature. Sorry if I moved him off camera or part of him off camera there for a minute. And then here we've got his followers. Also very cool looking, lots of detail on the horse, and I really like the quality overall of the mini. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to store those, but definitely looks like a cool expansion. And I think one of the things that most interests me about this game is just a way to try to implement everything at the start to get a really cool, nice, long, full, complete playthrough of the game. So we've taken a look at Kyrone. We're going to come back with the Arcane expansion and then take a look at the pets and the ADE solo expansion. We're almost gone through this video, 2 more segments left. Now let's take a look at the Aracne expansion for Sine Tempore. I believe I called it Arcane in the last segment. My mistake. Let's see what we've got in the box. Now we've got a nice rule book, explanations on how to use the expansion. Once again, looks like all the components are here, nothing in the black hole box. And this is another smaller expansion where we're really only going to be getting 1 to 2 missions, something that's easily integrated into the campaign. We get 1 large tile. As with all the tiles, they're double-sided. Whole slew of new tokens. Now, I'm probably going to store all these tokens from all the expansions in some new bags, as the ones I've got are already getting full. So let's take a look at what we've got here. Looks like the card packaging is fairly good. I really do, like, I don't think I've said enough, I really appreciate this kind of packaging. It's just, it's a little, it's a little much actually when it comes to what we're getting in terms of space. We've got 2 different Nemesis cards that can be added to the Nemesis deck. We've got some, of course, the new villain types, as well as some new equipment for defeating these villains. So here we've got Aracne, her card, then just information on the new villains. So I guess you can also fight her as a monster or a monster version of her. Some new equipment that we can get. And let's take a look. This card pack doesn't seem to be. There's a nice seam right there that we can use to get it open. Hopefully, one day we won't be seeing all of this shrink wrappage. We'll have something else. So we get a deck of cards for Aracne. We get some monster cards. And then our new pet card, Mambo. So very cool. I like the idea of Mambo right here. This dancing pet. Very cool. Looks like one of the lizard guys we saw before, except this time he's ready to Mambo. So we'll take a look at the big bad Aracne herself. I love this arachnid style. No, I hate spiders. For some reason, mechanical spiders aren't as terrifying. Maybe this thing doesn't have 8 legs, so very cool miniature. Would love to see what it looks like painted. And then we just have the two different types of spider drones. One that's walking around with a cannon. Now that's pretty scary, spider with a cannon. And then we've got these little guys here, which almost look like they got missile launchers on their back. That might be scarier than a cannon. Solid miniatures, not too fragile. Will definitely be easy to rebox this with something else. Now let's get it all nicely packed up and let's move on to what I believe is going to be our last segment as we take a look at the pets expansion and the ADE. Keep it right here as we've almost gone through all the expansions for Sine Tempore. Now let's take a look at the last expansions for Sine Tempore, the ADE, and the pets. So let's take a look at what we've got here. We'll slide out the mini. Now, I believe we've already seen this as it was included in the expansion for, well, the first one in the Explorer played Silicio, but you're able to get it separately now. Yeah, this one comes off as well. It does seem to fit on a little bit better. I am actually sort of happy to have two of them. They're pretty damn cool models and might be using one of them in a sci-fi RPG that I'm playing. We also get some more cards, or just a card, as we get the new enemy. So this one really is just to throw the ADE 2.0 in there. Now I guess I could have done this without I didn't need to add this on, but it doesn't really bother me. Two big mechs is always a lot of fun. Now we'll get this back in its box and then we'll take a quick look as to what we get in the pets expansion. In the pets expansion, we've got a set of rules. Now these have been damaged, so I'm actually not going to put these back. I'm going to find a better storage solution for them right away. So that's cool. And what we're getting in the pets expansion, we've got 3 new pets, Gorus, Cranbook, and the Brawler. So here's Gorus. It's absolutely adorable. Dropping him, but very cool mini. That's probably going to be my pet if I have a choice. Or the Bat one. I definitely like this guy. Very cool. The green doesn't seem to have as much detail as the gray when it comes to the molding. And this crab pet's pretty cool, but don't really see anything too special about it. It doesn't really do that much for me. So there you have it. That is the last of all of the expansions for Sine Tempore. Now we're going to come back at you with our outro, and stay tuned on the channel because we should be getting a review of the game up, at least the base game, hopefully in the near future. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. If you like what you saw, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Click that notification bell so that you know when we have some new video content on YouTube. Also, down below in the video description, you can find links to all of our social media feeds, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We've got them all. If you want to see some pictures of us playing Sine Tempore, those are the places to look. And don't forget, keep playing games.